Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. So today we are at the farm and I'm going to try and answer a few questions that have been repeatedly asked in the previous videos about chicken or bird rearing or poultry rearing. Now I'm going to be telling you a few things that I know so far, and the questions that needs like a sit down, of course I will just make maybe as just a sit down video and answer them. So today I want to talk about how to mix, because I've seen this question so much, like many times. Now most of you have been asking me how we mix, how to mix, which feed do I mix to get for my, of course, for my chickens. Now this is a thing I cannot come and tell you. Maybe I'll tell you later, in maybe with time I'll be telling you, but right now I feel like I'm not the right person to tell you which feed you should be providing or giving to your birds. Okay, I know, of course I know the good feed because I'm using one, but also that wasn't my knowledge. Now this is the thing: if you have, or if you are rearing and you don't know the feeds, of course the supplier, your supplier, is going to give you the best feed. Avoid going to poor suppliers or these people who just want money, who needs money and all that. Look for someone who has got a good reputation, about like a good reputation. You know, you have to look for a supplier who is honest, and a supplier who, of course, who values their name, of course, you know, because if you just get someone, they will just give you what they want, or the fee they want, and you know, the formulas and all that. But you have to look for someone who's really well advanced in feed mixing, and then poultry and bird rearing and all that. So avoid asking your friends. Now the reason that's why I'm not going to tell you how I mix my feed. I think in the first 2 or 3 videos that I made on this channel, I have a video whereby we are mixing for these chickens. Actually, we are mixing the starters and I explained some. So if you want to know what we did, of course you can go back and look at that video, and maybe you get a few things or information about it. But for the food or feed mixing, you just have to use your supplier. They will tell you the right feed to use depending on the quality of birds that you have, you know. So these ones particularly, they came from Turkey, and of course they give them different feed. So that's why I'm saying you just have to look for a supplier. And number 2, who mixes this food? We do. You just have to learn these things, because you're not going to be giving people money each and every day for them to mix for you. You have to learn, and of course when you learn these things, you're saving yourself from drama, from unprofessionalism, and you're also providing or giving yourself information that maybe probably you would have paid for, you know. So you have to learn. Of course, when you go to buy these feeds, they will tell you what they mix. They will tell you what you have to use at which at this and at such and such a stage. Maybe from week 1 to week 2 you have to use this, from week 2 to week 4 you have to use this, from 1 month to 2 months you have to use this, because it changes every time. It changes after a week, you know. The things that I did at the first 2 weeks, they're not they aren't the same things that we are doing at week 6, you know, and they're not going to be the same things that we're going to be doing at 3 months, you get. So yeah, make use of your suppliers. Question number 2, where do I get who's my supplier? Now my supplier, they're in work. So, but of course in every area there is a good supplier, or there are so many suppliers. So you might be in Uluwelo, you might be in Bale, you might be somewhere when you can't access someone from work. So of course you have to just look for a good supplier in your area, and then you have to know what you want. Now for the birds that are laying, actually they came from German, like the first two phase that we brought, they came from German. These ones particularly, they came from Turkey. This is the first time we're using or we got these from Turkey, but from the same supplier. And we also have people who, of course, who have been getting this quality, and they are doing good. They are doing well. So we also decided to give it a shot, but so far so good. Now these chickens that you're seeing here, they are at 6 weeks, which means it is 1 month and 2 weeks, and they are looking like this. I think you can see that, they are healthy, they are happy, So yeah, you just have to find a good supplier, and I recommend, if you're a starter, you start with Turkey. It is quite expensive, a bit expensive, and the German is a bit expensive, but of course you're not going to spend a lot of money than when you go for a cheaper bird, Another thing, someone was asking me about my stove, the stoves that we used. Still the supplier is in work, so I can get you the number, maybe Basolo Zibatelako, and then you get those kind of stoves, because they are real nice, and they protect your birds from being burnt and then unnecessary accidents, So another question that I got was, what was it? I got so many questions. Sometimes I actually forget them, but sometimes I answer one or two when I'm doing a video. Someone was asking me about these feeders. Now these feeders, when you go to town, you can get actually this is a 10 kilogram 10 kg feeder. You see it? It is a 10 kg feeder, and you can get this at between 18 to 20,000. You don't exceed 20,000. Between 18 to 20,000. There are you can find other feeders that are relatively similar but different. You can actually get them at maybe 14, 15, but avoid cheaper things because they don't last long. So this is how they look like. Someone wanted a clear view. This is how they look like. Now these are the feeders that the drinkers that were using right from the start. They are a little bit smaller, but we shall change them after like 2 months. Okay, yeah, we shall put bigger ones, but for so far now we are still okay with that. But those are the feeders that we are using. They are kind of different from the one that we are using from the bigger birds, the first one that we got, but that type got done, so they are bringing this, and then there is another type there. So another thing, this is not a question, but I would like to show you how you determine the healthy birds from unhealthy birds. Now I think you can see, you can even see when they are feeding, they are really happy, they are jolly, and they are active. Look at that, they are really active. Every time you come in their house and then they are not active, they are dormant, just know something is wrong. Either the feed is not good, or the water is not okay, or they are kind of sick, or they are cold. So you have to learn these things. You have to know how they should be at what time, and then so right now it is actually 1 p.m. and this is how they are. They have to be feeding, and even those that are not feeding, they are resting. Most of them, they are there. Others are feeding, others are not feeding because they are okay, but you should be in position to detect which bird is not okay and which bird is okay, but they have to be healthy. I emphasize that because it is really very important. Okay, yeah. So another thing, actually, now these birds are still, we've not chopped the beaks yet. We've not, because they are still young. I think we shall do that at 3 months plus. So their beaks are still like that. They are still sharp because they're actually not picking each other, but instead they pick me. But yeah, we have to do that when they reach 3 plus months, so that they don't get sick, because after doing that, chopping their beaks, of course you have to give them like a week. They act like they are sick, you know, they be lazy and all that, you know, because the wound has to heal. But so far, that is how they look like. I want to show you something here. Now, if you have your birds, you have to make sure you check some things out. If you have any other question, if I have not answered your question, kindly just drop it in the comment section. I don't want this video to be too long, but so I'm going to stop here. Thank you.